Welcome back. It's time for another Wildcat Wednesday, and we've got Wendy Powell in studio this morning. We're talking about something called Broom's Edge, and it seems like, you know, we've been in such a drought, like you can't get anything to grow except for weeds.
Yes.
Yes.
And some weeds are even difficult. But we have this problem plant. We've had it for a long time called broom sedge. And it gets its name because back in the early days, people would actually use it to make brooms because the plant is actually so stiff. You could just bind it up and put a stick on it and sweep out your dugout. Pretty handy. But really, it's an indicator of low fertility in our soils. So we've created this project to figure out how much fertilizer and for how long is going to fix the situation.
Right.
And so we're really excited to be able to turn out some information on that.
Okay, so the goal is to be able to apply the right amount of fertilizer, not to kill the good stuff, just the broom sedge.
Exactly, yes. And it might not be so much as eradicating our broom sedge problem, but making our desirable grasses more thrifty and then kind of choking out that undesirable stuff.
So where are we finding most broom's edge now?
Well, all of our studies are in hay meadows. We've got 2 native grass sites and 2 fescue sites, and then a couple of sites at the Research Center on Parsons. But really, we find this in any area, ditches, pastures, anywhere that has been overgrazed or maybe hasn't had the fertility up to par, places like that.
So where it's being found where it's overgrazed, I'm assuming like the livestock and whatever's grazing they're eating everything but that, so then it just continues to grow.
Yeah, livestock will only eat it when it's a little baby. But then whenever it gets big, like what was in that picture there, they won't mess with it. And it's called poverty grass by some folks because there's no nutrition to it. So poverty grass, low nutrients.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So what are you guys doing with your study right now?
So we've got several sites across the Wildcat district where we've got varying rates of fertilizer. So no nitrogen, some nitrogen, no phosphorus, some phosphorus. And we're looking at how all of those plots will turn out as far as the population of the broom sedge in those plots. And we're looking at that over a number of years so we can find out how much fertilizer and for how long will we need to follow these protocols to get rid of our problem.
When did you guys start doing the project?
In 2021, we really got some traction.
Okay.
So we're starting to see some differences now. The drought has really set us back. Everyone knows that grass has really struggled this year.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll eventually get some rain. It's in the
Yes.
forecast, so yay! And it'll spread out and get all the areas. So how did you go about deciding where to pick and which type of plots in different counties?
Yeah, so we knew that this plant is a problem in all sorts of grass types. And across the Wildcat district, we have a lot of fescue, and over towards the west side of the district, we have a lot of native grass sites, hay meadows and pastures and whatnot. And so we knew that we needed to fill that need on, answering the question. So we partnered with folks. It just kind of depended on who had a good site that we could get to, easily accessible for us as researchers, and then how we can bring that information back to the people. So our site in Caney is really accessible. It's right on the highway. So when people drive by, they see the little flags out there and, hey, what's going on over there? So that's really handy. People can actually see it.
Mm-hmm. And when they learn more, they're like, oh, they're studying weeds.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so I guess overall, why is it important to do studies like this in general?
Well, it's important so that we know how to take care of our pastures properly, but then it's also really important to have places for people to go that are local. So it's always easier to understand concepts whenever you can actually walk through a pasture and see the difference of, no fertilizer versus the full recommended rate according to a soil test. When you can actually walk through that and see on the ground what the differences is, that kind of brings the message home a little bit more than just reading about it in a fact sheet.
Mm-hmm. And people that really don't know that much about fertilizer, they may just think that it's out there to kill things, but it actually has benefits for the soil itself.
Yeah, so anytime a plant grows, it's using nutrients that are available in the soil, and so whenever that grass is either cut for hay or grazed for an animal, then those nutrients go with either the hay baler or with the animal. And so we have to somehow put those nutrients back. And so animals, of course, do put some little nutrients back in little piles. But when we bale, those nutrients.
That was a nice way to say that.
Don't let me sidetrack you. Those nutrients go off with the bale of hay. And so we somehow have to bring those nutrients back.
Awesome. Okay, so if you want to learn more about where you guys are at in the studies, you guys have I guess you call it a seminar, a luncheon coming up this Saturday, and then one later this month. You want to give us those details?
Yeah, so we're really excited. The two sites that we've been looking at the native grass on, in Fredonia, we're going to meet October 8th for lunch at the Old Iron Club, so folks can still register for that. Call Pam at the Call Pam at the Conservation District in Fredonia. And then on October 22nd, we're going to meet in Caney and go through that information.
All right, and you can find a link to where to sign up for those on our website, and you have a guest speaker though for both those as well.
Yes, Dr. Bruno Pedrera is our principal investigator on all of this, and so he has all of the information, and he's an excellent speaker when it comes to pasture management, so I'm really excited.
All right, sounds like a good program to learn more about.
Thank you.
Right. You can find more on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Thank you so much for coming in, Wendy.
Thanks.
We'll be right back.